All right, so we have an 8th gen Civic over here. Now, just to clarify, this is here for a tune, and you're gonna ask me, hey, how much for a tune? I don't typically do tunes anymore. In fact, I don't do tunes. I stay away from them. Different reasons for different cars, but I'm gonna make an exception to this one because he bought the LHT Spacer, and I said, yeah, well, you know what, let's go ahead and tune it. Went over him with a few points, like a checklist, but he is kind of replicating George's build, and he's a follower, so I kind of made an exception. I said, you know what, let's go ahead and tune it. I don't tune now for many reasons. I'm kind of phasing it out. Let me give you a perfect example, and then I'll let it go. You guys can fill in the blanks. You guys can take it the right way or the wrong way, whichever you choose to, but customer drops off for a tune. Hey, there's my keys. Plug your laptop in. It's ready to tune. Hey, when was the last time the plugs were changed? Don't think I've ever changed the plugs. Take the plugs out, change the plugs, get the car running somewhat reasonable, put it on the dyno, do a first couple of pulls, find out there is something wrong with the injectors, something wrong with the map sensor, valve adjustment is too tight, who knows what. 61,000 miles, super low mileage car. So basically you're getting paid to do a tune. The customer expects the guy with a laptop can fix everything, including mechanical issues, valve, piston issues, injector issues. It's all available in the laptop. So you have this awkward, I thought you was gonna fix it, the mechanic told me you would fix it. Everybody leaves upset. I don't want that. I don't want to be upset. I don't want a customer upset. So what do? Stay away from things that could potentially upset you and the customer. So has a base map in it, which is from the Hondata Flash Pro. It's a drop down. He basically selected the items that he has on the car, and it is, I'm gonna go ahead and put the password in here. Ready? See if that works. It seems to. So we'll see how close that is. We'll just do a base run. I went over the car. It's good oil in it. He said he put plugs in it. Everything is good. Has a Skunk 2 header. Has a K-tuned exhaust, I believe, and of course the intake that George has on his car, which is a really good intake, and of course the LHT throttle body spacer. If you're interested in one of these guys, I have 2 left. That's it. Not gonna make any more. Someone in China will knock it off soon enough, so just wait. We're not gonna be a part of that. So let's go ahead and get a base run. You ready? Alright, so 207, 149, it's not horrible. VTEC is way too early. VTEC looks like it's 41-ish. And we've got a bit of a dip here. There's a lean area there, so it's probably corresponding with that. But 207, pretty sure we should be able to get about 218, 220 with this setup. So let's go ahead and do some magic, and I'll show you it. It's probably going to sound the same from the camera, but I've done multiple runs and kind of crept up on my tune. I have a pretty good tune for this car already, but as we've seen in the past, every car is different. Even though the modifications will be the same, it's the same year, same mileage, it's amazing how the car is different, how one tune doesn't transfer over to the other one absolutely perfect. So we're pretty close now. Let's do another run and I'll show you the before and after. Picked up 10 peak horsepower, which isn't a whole lot, and about 11 foot-pounds of torque, but a lot of it is through the mid-range, and we got rid of that lean area right here. But the blue was when it came in, he dropped it off, I bolted on the dyno, and it was just as hot as it was sitting. This is obviously, I'm running the big fan, so there might be 1 or 2 degrees. Actually 1 or 2 horsepower in cool down, but we're not trying to chase 1 or 2 horsepower. We're trying to do a back-to-back run to see actually what we made. So we made power all the way, VTEC we raised VTEC up, we got a little bit smoother transition there, and it's a smooth torque curve, or barely a curve, it's only a torque straight, so I think he should feel that. That's a pretty good gain. Just like we said, the base map is okay, but it's not a tuned map, and every car is different, believe it or not. This tune is different to George's tune. It's within about 1 horsepower, 2 horsepower of George's, but the tune took a little bit more manipulating, so it's just really strange that not all the cars are the same as you would think. And again, the intake is really good. Look at the temps on the intake. That's pretty damn good right there. Pretty impressive. Okay, I'd like to say we have something different for you, but it is in some ways. This is here for some service work. This is actually owned by a good friend of mine. We are gonna do brakes. These brakes are kind of old and the fronts are wore a little bit, the backs are not too bad, but we're gonna do our Stop Tech rotors and use OE pads front rear. In fact, that's a set of front pads I just pulled out. Look over everything, make sure everything is good, flush the brake fluid, and this is pretty much stock under here, but we are going to do brake flush, clutch flush, engine oil change, transmission, and differential. Just bring it up to speed, make sure everything is nice and fresh and happy. So let's go ahead and take the wheels off. All right, so just removed the brake pads. Look at that, I think he got his money's worth out of those. There's probably a little under 1/8 of an inch left on those pads, actually a little bit less on the inner pad, so probably a good time to do this. So I had somebody recently ask me about these Phillips screws, and they said, is that really necessary? Well, the rotor is held on by the wheel. Why would Honda put these in unless Honda just has, you know, boxes and boxes of them and said, we need to find a way to get rid of these? I know, we can get rid of 8 every single car. Well, there is a reason for those. Well, you're gonna get dust behind here, material, rust, all kinds of things. As you take the wheel off and put it back on, this will often get contaminated with particles on there. You take the rotor off, put it back on. If there's a small particle that gets stuck under here and it goes up back on there, it's gonna cause the wheel to be out of balance and potentially it'll warp the rotor. So to make sure that this is clamped on here perfect, make sure the surface is clean before we put the new one on, then it stays in that position. You remove the wheel, you put the wheel back on, the rotor is in the perfect position all the time, and provided there's no rust on the front of the rotor, the wheel goes on the same way too. So talking of the rust and debris that's on here, you see it's got like a layer of like an orangey rust, and it is loose, it will come off on your finger. You use a drill and put a circular wire brush on there and go ahead and do all that surface, and then in between the rotors there, between the lug nuts, easiest way to do it. That way that surface is nice and smooth for the new rotor to go back on there. Alright, just draining the last of the oil. It's dark, but I think he's going by percentage. He doesn't drive this car hard, so it's not the end of the world. I do like to change them a little bit more frequent. Look at that. So his fluid was really nice already, but we did flush about 1.5 quarts through there. We like to use this clear container because it tells us a lot. We can see so many things by doing this. We can see obviously bubbles coming out, but we can see the different color change. We can see it gradually change to a much clearer color, which now you can see the bottom. So that one's good. We're going to go ahead and wipe off that master and then start on the clutch, which is this reservoir right here. There, you can see what that looks like. It's pretty dark, you can't see the bottom, but it doesn't have that chocolate look, doesn't have like material in it from what I can see. Still a good idea to flush it all the way down and get any kind of junk out of there. So let's go ahead and flush it, and I'll show you what it should look like. All right, look at that. Looks so clear, it looks like we'll put water in there. So this is a synthetic fluid we use. It's .3/4. It's synthetic, so it always looks much clearer than the conventional stuff that looks kind of like a light oil bronze color. All right, so the brakes are done. New rotors, new caliper paint. Just kind of give that a quick paint for him. He asked, is there any way we could clean that caliper up, and it was kind of dingy. So I went ahead and wire brushed the whole thing and used a high temp paint, and it definitely looks better. And of course, new OEM pads front and back. All right, this one's all done. I just tuck it up and down our side street, set the brakes, everything looks good. You see how much better those calipers look. I did them kind of like a satin black, and they stand out against the wheels. These are like a plastic dip coating that they put on there, so they're kind of flat, plus brake dust makes them look a little flatter, but they look good in black. That's what he was looking for. And again, a little bit of TLC in there. Fluids are done, brakes, oil change, transmission, clutch, diff, and now it's good. Look how beautiful this car is. This is the part of the video where I say hit the subscribe button, but you know that. Check out what is coming up next. Can you see that? I can see it in the viewfinder. It's a big part of my past, a big part of what made LHT what it is. I did a lot with that car, so if you like what you see, hit the subscribe, you'll see more. We don't spam you with stuff, we don't try and sell you stuff, we don't enter you in competitions, we don't buy stuff to give you to get you to subscribe. We just want you to subscribe to help us grow. If you help us grow, we'll share more cool stuff. And when I say share, all I do is hold this camera and point at stuff that we work on. The YouTube is not the business. I don't buy a car to modify, to blow it up, to drift it, to set fire to it, to roll it upside down, to sell videos. Our videos make pennies, but I do enjoy sharing what we do and sharing, you know, secrets and tips, that kind of thing. And I do enjoy the feedback. So if you like it, like I say, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.